Hello and welcome to rBeatz.com studios for local music somewhere. I'm Terry Hudson, your host for today. Today we're going to talk about the importance of mentoring in the music industry and music technology. And in the studio today, I have the perfect guest for this. Jason Jett is the founder of GrindHaus Studios. He's created a very, I would say, motivational and great space for young artists to come and learn and to record and to use the facilities. He's also well known for putting together songwriting and production workshops as well as showcases for these artists. So let's talk about it. Welcome, Jason.
Hey, man.
How are you doing?
I am excellent. How are you?
I'm good. And, you're one of the people that I've known for quite a while. I actually met you when you were at another recording studio because I knew your mother first.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess we could start there.
Hey, let's do it.
First jobs ever in media and in television was producing a show for your mother, where she had a lifestyle show, and it was so ahead of its time, for the area, because it was before the area really developed, and she was launching a lot of people that are doing things now, and they owe their start. I remember one who's actually become the women's professional wrestling champion. She was a world champion. But before she even got out of wrestling school, she did her first guest spot ever on any TV on your mother's show.
That's crazy.
Very cool.
I love it.
Yeah. So how did your mother being involved in that and your parents in general, did that have an effect on what you're doing now?
Man, that had such a major impact on, my person, like me, just, over the course of my entire life. And one thing about my parents, they've always been very passionate about creating things. So my dad being a musician and creating his music, and my mother being an author, and then stepping into the arena of doing a TV show. Like, to know that she was doing content at a high level, well into her like 40s, 50s, like she waited a long time before she did it, but she still did it. And that was beautiful to see her, something passionate about it, as an adult, I got to experience that. So,
well, the work ethic I saw from her and the way that the show was created, how she got her start, how she went and got educated to actually do the show. I've seen that in you. I mean, I've seen you be so hands-on with the things you're doing, from, building the walls to the building, that you're in, to putting the stuff up, getting very involved in understanding the equipment, and to the point it's made you someone who's able to create opportunities, not wait for them to come your way.
Right.
Let's start with just the beginning of you as an artist.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing. We always talk about you being a producer, or you being in sound crew and all of these things, but you are an artist, who has great songs out.
Thank you.
And you've taken this knowledge and you've used it to mentor, some of those people, the things that you've gone through. First, let's tell us about being an artist, and then we'll go into what you've learned, from that.
Yeah, man. It's interesting because I did actually start as a producer. So as a kid.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you started as an artist.
Nah, so
you must have been young.
I started making beats when I was 10.
Wow.
And then by the age of 18, I had 500 instrumentals, over 500. And then during all that time, I didn't know I was going to be an artist though. Like, so I was just doing the beats. I maybe sang and wrote a couple songs. They was trash. It was so horrible, man. But fast forward to me going to college. That's really where I started to find myself as a artist, as an adult too. I went to Full Sail University.
Oh yeah, great school.
It is. And I actually joined a few bands, and one of the bands I was in was called Bop Gun, and very instrumental chapter in my life, because I got exposed to other bands, other creatives, songwriters, musicians at a high level. And everybody was we were all like early 20s, and so just seeing people doing the thing that they cared most about at a high level inspired me, truly did. And so once I saw for example, one of the lead singer from Bob, his name's Peter Baldwin. And I saw him write songs and how he was formulating words to go with his melodies and everything. I was like, wow, okay, maybe I could do this. Let me try this out. And, being in choir and all that stuff growing up, I kind of knew I had a voice, but I didn't really like, try to do it, try to do it at a high level. And so,
Curiosity is a great thing.
it is. My mom and my dad came down to Florida, um, while I was down there, and they heard some of the music that we had done. It was like, well, why don't you just start doing your own stuff? And I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. And so then I started, getting back into like, my production, and then I started writing some songs for my first album, and then I did Love Boulevard. So that's how I started as me as an artist. And one of the biggest things I'd say like was just um I appreciate the journey of like me figuring out myself as an artist, because I made the choice to do it. It wasn't like I was forced into it, even though I had so many reasons why I could have did it earlier, but I did it when I was ready and on my terms. And
In an encouraging environment,
yeah,
which is also, key.
absolutely. So I had a really strong belief system going into it.
And I
Mhm.
hear the thing about DIY artist, and I know it's kind of a relatively new term, but
Yeah.
really it's always been like that. I mean, you've had
Yeah.
labels that had money, or private investors that had money that came in and made it a little
Mhm.
bit easier.
Yeah.
But to me,
Yeah.
you have more opportunities now than you've ever had as
Absolutely.
an artist, and you are able to, I guess, be more in control of what you're
Mhm.
doing. And you created with GrindHaus the first co-working studio in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Man, it's well, when you say it like that.
Well, it's true. Really, I mean, you were the
Yeah.
first one that did that. I don't know if they were even done in other cities,
Nah.
but you were the first one to create it here in the city. And it was at that time when, because we've talked about Charlotte, we've been focusing on the
Mhm.
city and how it's emerging as a music community, and
Yeah.
it's emerging pretty fast. But you were ahead of that game,
Right.
so that now you're in place as that's happening.
Yeah, so to my knowledge, there's only one other one that I know of in the nation, and that's Rec Philly. And so, but yeah, it's an idea that I've had for many years. So I started. When- so first of all, I came up with the name GrindHaus Studios when I was in middle school.
How?
I was just doodling on paper. Should have been
Okay.
paying attention in class, and I was sitting there thinking of studio names. And I didn't even know I was going to actually do it one day, but I did it. And the second part to the story is when I was living in New York City. I was doing a whole hustle and bustle thing of trying to be an artist and
Yeah.
and working the 9 to 5. And I was working at Starbucks. I used to wake up every morning like 4 a.m. and walk to the store. It's like 2 blocks away in Manhattan. And one thing that I noticed that what's happening was before I moved to New York, I was going to New York almost like every month for meetings with labels, all this, all these opportunities and all these, significant milestones like getting signed to Interscope and all that. The minute I moved to New York, things just kind of slowed down. And I thought to myself, I was like, why are things slowing down? And I said, well, I need to get into the studios. I need to get to work. And then, just based off my lifestyle, I was like, man, like I can't really afford, to be doing this. Like it's studios up there, it's stupid expensive. And then also
Yeah.
too, like I knew everything, but I just didn't have access to a great quality space to do it. So I really just need the room. To be frank, I have all the gear and all the knowledge. And so I was like, there needs to be a space. It's like a YMCA for music. And that's really where the model of GrindHaus came from, and that's like 23, 24 years old. I was like, there should be a place where people pay a monthly membership, get a certain amount of hours per month, and they come in and work. And you don't have to have an engineer if you don't want one. You can engineer yourself, but if you want an engineer, you can get one. But this is a perfect place if you know how to do the daggone thing yourself.
Plus, having people there keeps you motivated, as
Exactly.
well. And we'll get into that a little bit more in the mentoring part that we'll talk about. I know with the studio, what I've been told, I brought Joseph Gallo in there. Remember
Yeah.
we were making that introduction. Now he's over there with you.
Yeah, he's been working.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has. He is a workhorse too. He's actually been on the show as well. But one of the things Joseph told me, he's like you. He's been to New York and just various places when it
Yeah.
comes to studios, Nashville, and he was saying this studio is set up perfectly for an artist. It's the best studio that I've seen set up actually for an artist
Wow.
instead of set up for the industry. So that
Wow.
that's
dope.
a great thing to notice,
Mhm.
and it makes sense being that space that you have become the mentor for younger artists, and you've done that through a few things. I'll let you talk a little bit more about like Young Icons. I know
Yeah.
you were doing that, which is one of your youth workshops. How many things are you doing like that now?
Yeah. I mean, within Young Icons, we're doing, a few things. So we've got our Logic Pro X workshop that we do every other Saturday. We do our Young Icons camps over the summer. And so that's really important. That's
What do
really,
they learn at those
oh
camps?
man, that's like a whole artist intensive. So we put artists, like young kids under the age of 18 in the studio and teach them how to make songs. So from beginning to end, songwriting, music production. Some of them want to do music production, but most of them are typically, rappers or singers, and they want to, learn the process of making a song, beginning to end. So we take them through that journey. They record cover songs, and then they do original songs. So it's a really immersive week, and we just kind of like every day, um, they just level up what they do. So they'll start out top of the week, learn a group song. Second day they might do a cover song. And then by the end of, after they've done their cover song, they built up the confidence to say, oh, you know what? I want to hear myself on my own song.
Right.
And then, we give them the tools to be able to write their own music with our coaches. And we always bring in other artists too, like Anthony Hamilton, and he comes through almost every time, and it's dope.
Yeah,
It's
I
dope.
noticed you've done some vocal workshops as well.
Yeah.
And don't you have one coming up, maybe about the vocal mic?
Yeah, so we got vocal mixing. Yeah,
Oh,
so
vocal mixing.
vocal mixing's coming up on the 18th. Yeah, the 18th. That's next weekend. So that's going to be a great class because we get so many engineer artists that want to come through and learn how to make their vocals sit right in the mix. I mean, I've got professional artists that like, Jet, man, I'm trying to figure out where to get this to sit in the mix. And it could be something as minor as understanding compression and EQ, or it might be something that, they need to learn an overall, concept of. So,
Right,
Mhm.
because no matter what level they ascend to,
yeah.
having knowledge like that is important when you're working with a producer, when you're
Oh,
working with
yeah.
another engineer, and a lot of them go in blind. I mean, they don't know
Oh,
anything
yeah.
about
Absolutely.
tuning drums before they get there,
That part.
or before everything gets started. So much money is wasted,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the studio, and you also understand the live sound,
Yes.
thing about
Yeah.
that. We'll come back to this part, but on the live sound, are you still out working
Yeah.
with crews and doing live
Yeah.
sound, right?
Absolutely. Very much so. And that's, live sound is something that, it kind of came about on accident, and sometimes you got gifts you don't even know you're aware of, you're not aware of, and so that was one of them that, I didn't really I didn't understand. But I went out initially touring with Anthony as a backline tech. And so for anybody that doesn't know what backline is, that's just setting up the instruments for the band so they can go out and have a great show. It's that simple. So it's a lot more work, physical labor involved with that. But the only reason why I did it was because A, I'd never been on a tour before. And B, I wanted the experience of doing it and being able to network with people in the industry.
Right.
And so, and then also too, in the back of my mind, I said to myself, you know what? Very rarely am I in a position these days of where I can serve at, as a, another within another organization. And so I've pretty much created everything in my life to where I kind of run it, but that was one of the things that I don't control. And so I was like, you know what, maybe this will be good for me just so I
Letting
can,
somebody else be in charge of that.
yeah, so I
But
can kind
it
of,
took you to some great places. I mean, I was
it
I
had,
was following a couple of the tours that you were on.
yeah.
Not only are you in the large coliseums, but you're in just different places. I think one you were on an island somewhere.
Man, dude, this joint took me places I never even imagined. Like, I mean, my first show with Erykah Badu was in Brazil. Like, I got a
Oh.
call to go out with her, and there's always something new to learn when I'm out here. Like, even just this past weekend, I got put on a board that I never used before, so I had to create a whole new show file, and it's pretty much the last board that I needed to touch because I've touched everything else. And I've been like kind of dreading the idea of doing it for months. And I was like, man, I know they're going to throw this on me one day. And it came. So like I have an SXL. I had never been on it before. It's an easy board, but still like,
Oh yeah,
it's always newness to, what I do.
and it's showing you flexibility too.
Yeah.
The reason I cut to that I'm coming back to the other stuff, is because what makes you such a great mentor is the experiences that you've been in. And one of the things that I talked to Joseph, for instance, is having that knowledge of live sound and studio sound.
Right.
Even as artists, as well. So you guys are, you're out there. You were on
Mhm.
these tours. You were learning those things. You've been at the club level,
Yeah.
the television stuff. That you've been able to do
Mhm.
the podcast guest spots, the showing up at the coliseums and knowing how the sound works from all levels of this,
Yeah.
being in on location for videos, on and on. So when you come back to these artists that are trying to emerge as a next artist, and they have the different levels that they have to go through,
Yeah.
it's important to have somebody surrounding you that does know how these things work, that
Mhm.
does have the experience,
Mhm.
because just as you can learn through your own experiences of what to do and what not to do, you can learn a lot from somebody else's experiences
Man.
if they're willing to share, and for
Absolutely.
things that they've done, mistakes they've made,
Yeah.
having the work ethic to
Yeah.
go set up the back line, and get involved
Absolutely.
in the industry. It was a door in.
What?
And even the things you went through with the record companies,
Yeah.
being out in New York,
Mhm. Mhm.
a lot of people have they believe myths about how
Yeah.
that works,
Sure.
and when they see the reality of it, you made the decision not to do that, of course,
Yeah.
at that time, and those were things that they need to know as
Mhm.
artists. So coming back there, one of the programs that I noticed you have in your mentoring is the self-made engineer.
Yeah.
And with that, of course, as you ascend to different levels of, either working with a record company, working with, a well-known producer, a big producer, or being able to start some of these things yourself, you go in with an idea of kind of how you want your songs done
Yeah.
by coming through something like an SME. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Yeah. So, SME also too, like that. I feel like when I was living in New York, like I was um, manifesting a lot, just putting it all out there, and now I'm actually doing the things, all right? And so, like, I had the idea of GrindHaus, then SME is actually a brainchild of that same season.
Oh, okay.
And, being able to create a space for artists to be able to know how to do everything and be fully equipped is really important. One thing that I say, like, is it's all about being able to pay attention to the details. I think the details a lot of times is what a lot of people miss in this process of engineering themselves and being a self-made artist and slash engineer is, the thing you don't care about that the person that's successful cares about is the difference in why you're
Right.
not successful. And a lot of times, people that are trying to do the thing themselves without understanding some of the details that make something great is why they're not great. And so I just really want to help bridge the gap for people and let them know, like, it's not that your vision is off or the idea of where you're trying to go and take your record is off. It's just understanding there might be a couple pieces that are missing to the puzzle that help glue it and bring it together full circle.
Yeah. Why is it that people are so afraid to be wrong?
Man.
One thing that I wrote, I have this book out called Timeline, and I wrote in there about this little child. It was a girl that I observed in the park,
Yeah.
and her dad had bought her one of those, those styrofoam airplanes,
Yeah.
and she was trying to fly it. And he said, "Well, let me show you." And she was like, "No, no, no, let me do it." And she threw it, and
Yeah.
it just crashed to the ground. And he said, "Let me show you." She picks it up again. "No, I know how to do it upside down." Crashed to the
Boom.
ground. Then he said, "Just let me show you." She was like, "No, I got it." Turned it around, tried to throw it tail first. Again, it crashed. And finally, she just had her head down, had her arms down. And she was just like, just show me,
Yeah.
just, and he showed her, and she had fun the rest of the day.
Mm.
But we feel like that we're going to be observed as stupid
Yeah.
if we, don't have somebody there with us that's been through that experience,
Oh
that
yeah.
can show us. It's not about knowing all. Even when you go through the course, it's great to come back and
Yep.
sit there with that engineer, sit there in the studio,
Yep.
and just get deep into
Mm-hmm.
that craft,
Mm-hmm.
because most of the people that I know that are young artists trying to grow, they're trying to grow into that next
Yeah.
national artist. And if you're going to achieve that plane,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to step up to that plane.
You do.
And
Yeah, you really do.
that's again, where somebody like you, again, with the knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
come through and you understand, you've had that experience, and they can learn from it. I absolutely recommend to artists out there, if not just in the Charlotte area,
Yeah.
but if you're out there and you're listening, this is a great place to come and learn your craft for what you're doing, whether you're a pop artist, whether you're an R&B artist, hip hop, whatever it is, because of how your studio is set up.
Thank you. Yeah, truly thank you, because it's it's been it's been a process just trying to figure that out too, and like what is it that artists out here need, universally speaking, right? And I think part of that is just creating a space that is inspiring to be in. It's comfortable, but not so comfortable to where you don't get anything done. So it's got to also have all of the tools that you need to be able to get something done and get it done at a high level. Like even yesterday, one of our membership rooms, I don't normally work in one of the membership rooms. I have my own, suite, the skybox that I normally work in. And so, but yesterday I did a session in one of the smaller rooms just because it felt like, it feels like what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? And someone new that comes in, they're working in one of the membership rooms. And so like, just felt good to just kind of recalibrate and reset and go back in there and like
look through their eyes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cool. Well, we're going to take a quick break to get a message from our sponsor. We love our sponsors. And we also have another treat, and then we'll come back. And I have a few questions for you if you're up to
I'm down.
Answering some things for me. Okay, that'll be fun.
Cool.
We'll be right back.
Sweet.
They are playing some of the best hockey in the entire American League right now.
They're the team that you don't want to be lined up against. They've really made a case for themselves as a real threat going down the line here.
Here comes a breakaway. Dalby into the zone. High slot shot. He scores! Spencer Knight with the right leg!
Heard the music bumping, and it was so jamming to me. Oh, feels so good. And I was in the good light. Goddamn. I heard it from down the street. So now we just wanna be the life of the party. Baby, looking for some fun. I think we need something to take the edge off this heat. We just wanna have a good time. I came to crash your party, girl. Looking for no drama. We just wanna kick it. Very hot tomorrow tonight. I came to crash your party, girl. Every day's a fight when you rockin' with me. I'll be the first to tell you. I promise. These drinks got me feeling some kind of way. I hear my ego talking. What did it say? But my body is floating in outer space. Now we just wanna be the life of the party. We've been looking for some fun. I think we need something to take see. So we brought the girls, we'll turn this party upside down tonight. My fellas, hey, hey. So we brought the girls, brought the drinks. Now tell me, can we get no? We on top of the world. Came to crash, we came to crash. So let me see you work, work. Hey. Now tell me, can we get no? Okay. We came to crash. Okay. Work. Two-step. Girls, brought the drinks. A two-step. Let me see you slide to the left. Hey. Okay. Yeah. Let me see you slide to the right. I wanna see you work. Hey. Yeah. Let me see you. Come on. Hey.
And we're back here in the rBeatz studio with producer, songwriter, performer, mentor, Jason Jett. And I got a few questions for you. You ready to answer these?
Hey, I'm ready.
It'll be fun.
Let's do it.
I will try not to make it too personal. What are the variety of services you offer to businesses for music services outside of a musician coming in to record a song?
Man. Well, we do like some like podcast recording and stuff like that too. We've done birthday parties.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me how that works.
People want to come in and they want to record songs, but you know, sometimes they just want to kick it in the studio or have a listening session, but with their friends. They want to feel, cool.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a great team builder for corporations.
Yeah.
You know, because they're always looking for team builder exercises. That
Absolutely.
could be a good thing for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even creating a corporate song for them.
Yeah. Yeah. They like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And you're a fun guy, so.
Hey, we try to keep it fun.
Let's
Not
go
too much fun. Not Diddy type of fun.
Yeah, I was never at one of those parties. I don't think you were either.
Yeah, no, we stay away.
Answering our question number 2, do you offer services to artists after their recording is complete?
Other than just the standard like mixing and mastering, we do I wouldn't say necessarily like a service, but more so like opportunities for them. We create things like that. So we've got our GrindHaus Fresh experience.
That was where I was going to lead into with that. So why don't you go ahead and let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, so GrindHaus Fresh is man, actually you come in to play with this too, because this is something my mother wanted to do many years ago.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, she wanted to do
trying to find that building at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she wanted to showcase Charlotte's talent, and a few months ago, I say maybe about 4 months ago, I had woke up and it was just heavy on my spirit. It's like it's time. You know what I mean? It's time to do this. And so I just hit up Greg over at Neighborhood. I was like, hey man, I don't know if you've ever done an open mic. He was like, no, we've never done it. I was like, well, I want to do a curated open mic experience where we audition the artists, hand select them, and
high quality.
And it's been that. We've done 2. We got our 3rd one on June 9th. And first month we had 65 artists submit. And dude, when I tell you we announced this 2 weeks before the event.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and we had about 100 people come out.
I didn't know you had that many submit. That's pretty crazy.
65. Second month we had 45 submit. And I just checked. We just opened the submissions yesterday for this coming month. They have to the 17th to submit. We've already got like 10 in there within the last 24 hours. So.
Well, let's talk about the structure of that, because it's a pretty important event, and then we'll come back to the third question. But in this event, what is the exact venue that you're having it at?
Yeah, so we do this at Neighborhood Theater in Noda.
Okay, Neighborhood Theater in Noda.
We do it on a small stage over there, so it's nice and intimate.
And is it all up and coming artists, or do you have headliners?
At some point, we'll bring in a bigger artist. I'd love for us to have a bigger headliner, but we want to keep it, true to the artists and their original creation. So, meaning we're not doing any bands right now, no live instrumentation. You got to just come in with your track.
And what is the cost to be on this?
It's free to perform, man.
Oh my goodness! Say that
It's
again.
free. Yeah, it's free to
How many
perform.
times have I had to say on this program,
Yeah.
stay away from pay to play?
There you go.
And it just seems rampant. I mean, I see all these events and these young artists trying to get on something as a pay to play, but this is a free event. So every up and coming artist that's within listening range or ever watches this video, they need to know one thing. This is a free event.
Absolutely.
And it's a quality event because I know you.
Yeah.
If they show up, there's going to be quality sound
Absolutely.
there. It's going to be a
dude,
first-class operation.
I'm telling you, lights, fog, all that, man.
Right.
It's an
and
experience.
it's like their chance. Imagine the videos and things that they could get out of. There is no reason not to come do this event.
Yeah.
So say the name of the event again.
It's GrindHaus Fresh, and we spell fresh with an X instead of an E. And we've got videos of the first one on YouTube, and then we drop highlights on our Fresh CLT page on IG too. So we got
Very
tons
cool.
of content out there, man.
Very cool. And third question.
Yeah. What's up?
What is your digital audio workstation of choice at GrindHaus?
Oh man, I'm a Logic Pro head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Man, it's just
Not for me to know. I want these people to know.
Yeah, it's one
You're
of
the
the
pro.
first softwares that I use like when I became an artist, right? So like at post college, you know, it's really what was comfortable, and I felt like it was like it was just fast. It was very responsive for me, and it's great for production. So I don't like always having to take producing here and then go to Pro Tools, drag all my files in there, my beats and stuff. It's just too much. So I'd rather just do it in Logic. And so, yeah.
Well, that's a great answer. Thank you very much. But I want to thank you for playing along. But I also want to ask you what's next, because you're always doing something.
Yeah.
So what you got coming up?
Man, so this summer, man, I'm excited because you know, I'm putting a lot of energy into education, and so we're going to be doing workshops. I'll be hosting, you know, as you know, the vocal mixing. We're going to be doing some drum teching workshops, teaching people how to mic drums, how to engineer them. We're going to be doing it from the studio perspective, live perspective, just teaching artistry, songwriting retreats. Like, we're hosting it all. This summer GrindHaus is going in. And then also too, for me as an artist, I'm excited because I'm gonna release some new music and some collaborations. So I've been collaborating with some incredible Charlotte talent, and I'm excited to share some of that music. So
And how can they find out about that?
just follow my page, Jason Jett, or at GrindHaus Studios.
Well, been so cool having you, my friend.
Man,
And
it's always a pleasure.
can't wait to get with you outside of here and come to the things you're doing. Your next, I know you have another Fresh coming up. So
June 9th.
I believe I'm in town for actually this one.
Come on.
So I hope to
Thanks.
be there. Well, again, we're here at Local Music Somewhere, rbeatz.com. Our guest today has been Jason Jett. It's been such a pleasure to have him. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Much love.